With the permission of Honorable Speaker, sir, in the motion of the House, Manipur na pre-merger political status ta hanjin bang ngamlaba matamda ta Manipur India conflict ki wakai manabang ngamgani. Speaker, sir, I do by stand here as an active opposer of the motion. Speaker, sir, let us analyze that what is the pre-merger political status? What is it exactly? Speaker, sir, I would like to begin with the point by saying that before signing the merger agreement, Maharaja of Manipur, Maharaja Bodhachandra, he signed two other documents. We all know this. He signed Instrument of Accession and the Stencil Agreement on 11th of August 1947. Speaker, sir, according to these documents, Manipur handed over three main subjects to the Indian Dominion, and they are defense, external affairs, and communication. Speaker, sir. So, if the pre-merger, the so-called pre-merger political status is to be considered, what will it be? Will it be of giving these three subjects, these three main subjects to the Indian Dominion and the rest having with the Manipur government? Will it be that? And according to me, no, sir, it will not be that. The real pre-merger political status, it will be of a complete sovereign country. And I would like to give reasons for this. Number one, Maharaja Bodhachandra, he signed the Stencil Agreement and the Instrument of Accession on 11th of August, as I have said earlier. But the so-called country India, it was born on 15th August. According to Section 1, Clause 1 of the Indian Independence Act, quote, from 15th August 1947, two independent dominions, India and Pakistan, will be born, unquote. So, Speaker, sir, I want to say that the two documents, which are the Stencil Agreement and the Instrument of Accession, they are invalid, and thus the country is still a sovereign country. Number two, in the signing of the Stencil Agreement and the Instrument of Accession, there was no signature of the Governor General of India. In order to make a document valid, the highest authority must sign it. But his signature was also not there. Instead, the Governor of Assam, he signed it, which is not a correct procedure to follow, Speaker, sir. And with giving these two reasons, I want to say that the pre-merger so-called political status of Manipur will be of a complete sovereign country. Now, keeping this in mind, keeping the sovereign independent country in mind, I would like to go further into my argument, Speaker, sir, by picking out some major conflicts which are happening today in Manipur, and by analyzing that really this pre-merger political status will be effective in solving them. Number one, let us analyze the insurgency conflicts in Manipur, Speaker, sir. We all know the two main reasons, the two main causes for the insurgency. Number one is the ethnic conflict, and number two is the National Liberation War. We all know this. Some of the major insurgent groups I would like to name out: People's Revolutionary Party, People's Liberation Army of Manipur, etc. These are some of the insurgent groups. What I want to ask here is that, Speaker, sir, if the pre-merger political status is given to Manipur, will these insurgent groups stop operating? Will they create no more demands? And the question will be, Speaker, sir, I don't think that. They may create more demands. We cannot trust them. There is no guarantee. And hence, the pre-merger political status is not effective in solving the insurgency conflict. We can also take the example of Jammu and Kashmir, who had the status of independent state for more than 70 years. But the insurgent groups, they still keep on operating there. And at last, the government has to remove the special right by abolishing Article 370 and 35A, which happened recently, Speaker, sir. So I want to say that the pre-merger political status will not be effective in solving the insurgency problem. Number two, I would like to talk about the social and political conflict of Manipur. We all know that different sections are there in Manipur, and we all know that the Nagas want to create Nagalim, that the Kukis want to create Kukilim. We all know this. Small fractions, because these small fractions all of them wants independence. And if now we are under the authority of the Indian government, but if Manipur goes away from this dominion and forms an independent state, all of these small fractions, they will also like to create their own independent state. Manipur will be tear apart, Speaker, sir. This is a very big reason. And I would like to say that the giving of pre-merger political status will be a big difficulty and a big, massive problem for the future. And hence, we all know that different ethnic groups, different social groups, they all want to be politically powerful. And this is a problem happening right now. We cannot ignore this. Number 3, I would like to talk about the economic conflict. The gross domestic product of Manipur for 2017 and 18, it was rupees 231.67 billion, which was expected to grow this year by 11%. But because of the drought, Speaker Sir, our agricultural production as well as we have no industrial good basis, it is all worsening. And above that, burns and blockade, they are worsening the situation day by day. And Speaker Sir, again, the pre-marriage political status will not be helpful in solving the economic conflict of Manipur. Last point, I would like to mention about the international arena. Is Manipur ready to jump into the international arena? Right now, India is occupying a major position in the international arena. But if Manipur acquires this so-called sovereign country, it becomes a country, is it ready? Because we are the neighbor, we are the main neighbor to Burma, Myanmar. And we all know China is giving much influence to Burma now. So, because of the above facts and figures, I believe that the pre-marriage political status will not be helpful, and hence I request our Speaker Sir to withdraw the motion from the House. Thank you.